Such a blessing to see you, Mr. President. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Oh, gracious God, thank you so much.
All right, what's the question?
All right, Mr. President. My name is Julio Acegueda. I'm currently a student at Edison State College in my second semester. And, okay, I've been at the same job, which is McDonald's, for 4.5 years because of the fact that I can't find another job. Now, with the fact that I've been there for as long as I've been there, do you have any plan or any idea of making one that has been there for a long time receive any better benefits than what they've already received?
Well, I tell you what. First of all, a couple things I'd like to say. Number one, the fact that you are working as hard as you're working at a job that I know doesn't always pay as well as some other jobs, I think that's a source of pride for you. That shows that you're doing the right thing. Now, the second thing is that you will actually benefit from the tax breaks that we're talking about, so you'll be able to keep a little bit of extra money because we're going to offset your payroll tax. That's going to help. Oh, I assume that you're not getting health care through your job, and so one of the things that we want to do is reform the health care system so that you will have access to health care in your job.
Pause. In the subsection, that old lady he was just talking to, she won't get health care. I read the quotes, Bloomberg yesterday, of the people pushing the bill and what's in there. It says, well, if you're going blind and you're old, you're going to have to just go blind. That's what's supposed to happen. Only the young people get health care. And what they're doing is playing the young off against the old as if everybody couldn't have it. The bankers weren't stealing everything. And they're taking over health care. So you got this guy, I'm begging you, oh, Lord, like he's God. Oh, save me. Just they have put their total faith in this guy, and we know he's betraying them with the international banks. We know they're openly setting up a global bank to tax the industry that's left and the companies that are left. We know he said get ready for austerity, get ready for tough times. He told that old lady, there's a lot of people in your position, ma'am. She's basically homeless. You heard her, not even have a bathroom or a kitchen. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. Let's go back to it.
Of course, now it better be a good one. Go ahead.
Oh, it's such a blessing to see you, Mr. President. Thank you for taking time out of your day.
All right, that's enough.
Gracious God, thank you so much.
Or you can cut up to the end if you want. It's just horrible. It's absolutely horrific to see this happening. Let's go to your phone calls. Let's talk to John in Ohio first because he disagrees. Okay, John, you're up first.
Yeah, I always have to tell you where I'm coming from. I've publicized your videos on national radio, and I support, and I'm usually inspired by what you say, but on other occasions, horrified. And I think in some ways you're very contradictory in terms of believing the most extreme fascist elements of the military-industrial complex propaganda concerning communism and socialism. I know you know better because sometimes you ambivalate. And the Newsweek claiming that this is socialism when they know it's exactly the opposite of socialism. It's the marriage of the government.
Stop. I'm going to let you talk, but I want you to stop. There is no socialism. There is no communism. There is no fascism. There's tyranny that always comes through big government because corrupt people will get control of it and use it to rob from people because men aren't angels. And there's liberty. Now, we can debate what will bring liberty, but it's decentralization, local control. Of course, stop. Of course I said the Newsweek headline where the red states and the blue states are shaking hands and it says we're all socialists now. Of course this isn't socialism. And, of course, this isn't true capitalism with these foreign offshore banks stealing and robbing. This is looting. This is piracy. And so they're going to give literally about 2% of the money to the poor people while taking their jobs and making them dependent and give 98% to the foreign banks. So it's not socialism. You're right about that. But what we have is also not what you call capitalism. This is crony capitalism, robbing, stealing, whatever you want to call it. So you're saying, that I'm putting out right-wing fascist information. Notice that both parties do the same thing. You know what? You just don't get it, sir, because you believe the left-right paradigm. Go ahead and make your point. I'll shut up.
I don't believe that. You know, I've even before you were criticizing Obama for being a fascist, I was doing it. So I'm not in that Democrat Republican paradigm. It's right wing, disguised right wing, and undisguised right wing. It's not left right. And some of the people that I've heard you on today. Now, you know, Jack McLamb says some important things about the war and Tillman and the rest of it. But he comes out and he says that these people are communist. That are anyone who's in the elite, who have been involved in some of the most anti-Soviet, anti-communist operations. That is going to discredit, I think, much of the wonderful things you're doing. And I think some of the people in Hollywood are fearful. Others may be embarrassed, like Jesse Ventura, for instance, when you had this man on from Glenn Spence. I believe that many of these people are absolutely neocons in their attitude towards war and the rest of it. I've heard many of them. They are total supporters of neoconism. Larry Platt, he says very good things about keeping your gun rights. At the same time, he made the comment that he supports the paramilitary death squads in Guatemala that killed a quarter million people.
Let me stop you. We have Larry Pratt on over the Second Amendment issue because it's the only real gun lobby we got, sir. You know, you can't judge me by everything my guests have said or done. But let's just expand on here. Did the Soviets allow citizens to own guns? Did the communist Chinese allow them to own guns? Look at the fruits of what you call communism. Now, if we had a bunch of angels running things, could communism work? No, because that's not how humans operate. We want to be different. We want to identify as different people. Look, it's a philosophical divide. I'm against torture. I'm against more wars. I'm against drafts. I'm against police state. I'm against federal control. You get rid of those, the New World Order falls apart. You know, see, I'm not a fan of Fidel Castro. I'm not a fan of Barack Obama or George W. Bush. I understand that it's not Iran good, U.S. bad, U.S. good, Iran bad. It's the nature of man and corruption. Now, who's the big empire? The New World Order. Who are we facing? The New World Order. Look, I'll give you one more minute, and I got to get to the other callers. Go ahead.
Well, it seems like 3 or 4 times a day you've got to bring up, and I'm not a particular brief for the deformed version of communism in the Soviet Union or China. I don't believe they had real communism, but I believe we're subjected to massive lies, massive exaggerations about what happened there. If you'll check on Google lies concerning the Soviet Union, you'll find that many of these things that we believe about the carnage and the rest of it, the numbers of people killed,
China,
were concocted by Nazis, Goebbels. And
hey,
they were then laundered through the CIA.
Sir, China says Mao killed 80 million people. The official numbers in the West are 60. Are you saying that didn't happen under Mao?
The mortal enemies of the new regime in China and Russia were the mortal enemies of the former regime. They will say anything because they actually, for instance, Yeltsin actually brought tanks and troops up and killed the old guard in their own Duma parliament, the elected people. So to believe the new regime, which was the mortal enemy of the former regime, is not any kind of...
Let me ask you this. What's your view of Putin?
Putin is, I believe he's a nationalist. He's tried to reverse some of the total stooging for the U.S. military-industrial complex under Yeltsin. But he has his own abuses. Of course he does. But at the same time, he's resisting, I think, some of the policies of the United States military-industrial complex, which I think is good to that limited extent. That's what I believe about him.
All right, thanks for the call. Let's go ahead and who's up next here? My call list just refreshed. Elliot in Ohio, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Good.
So I got a question, and then I got an idea for a solution. My question is, let's just say everything, let's just say it is the worst case scenario, everything crashes, and Mad Max scenario happens. What, in your opinion, do we do as patriots if we are prepared? We got the guns, the gold, the water, atmospheric water generators, and all the food and all that. Where do we start from there?
Well, first we have to wait while they let everything break down, so then people beg for total tyranny. I mean, they plan to let it all fall apart. It looks like they're going to do this. So then after 6 months, a year, they come in and people are begging for it. You have to be waiting for that next phase to not be re-educated, to not go to the FEMA camp, to not go along with them. And if enough people say no to whatever extent, whatever means necessary, then the whole thing will fail, and then we could reorganize at the state level and then reconvene the republic. You know, we need organizations now at the state level, led by state representatives and others, who talk openly about the New World Order, who say they're bankrupting things by design, and that the states need to organize now against the globalists. That message has to go out now, and then the globalists may stop imploding the economy. They could stop it right now. They've destroyed confidence. They could say everything was fine, everything would be fine, because it's fiat. So we have to explain to people that, A, the globalists are doing this by design to bring in world government, which they admit they're doing now, no more debating it. That, right. B, if we have the states and organizations all with one voice start screaming bloody murder, they may back off and stop. Or, regardless, we go deeper down the road.